Welcome to the Red Half of Sheffield preview podcast. Yes, people watching this, I am back. Season number 3 of talking to the other teams, podcasters, and illustrious people that cover the other side of the team that is lining up to play against Sheffield United. This time, to kick off the season, I am joined by probably one of my favorite interviewees as Sheffield United get ready to go to the north end of Preston and face Preston North End Friday night under the lights at Deepdale. I am joined by, if you guys have way back when I started doing these preview pods, Jack from the Butter by Pie podcast is back for, what does this be, your third time? Because we did it twice that first season. So third time the charm. Jack, how are you doing? Glad to have you back on the podcast.
Well, I'm glad to be back. Obviously, it was my favorite guest appearance, honestly, on any podcast. And I've done I think I've done a Luton one. I'm pretty sure I've done a Watford one. But no, of all of the guest appearances I've done, I think I really enjoyed being on yours because we had a very good conversation and it was very free flowing. And it was at that business end of the season where you guys were getting promoted and we may just clinch the playoffs, but it's a completely different tone this time around.
Yeah. As I was telling you pre-recording, and oddly enough, you said the opposite. I said, well, you guys are going to have fun Friday night battering us. And you come back and say, well, our supporters think we're going to be the other side of getting battered by you guys. So, what has Preston been up to this summer, and have you changed the side to improve it to where, Preston are one of those teams that if you just look middle of the road championship, they are right there.
We are there.
Single season. Is this the season where Preston might get into the top half and maybe even make a push towards playoffs? Or are we talking like 14th, 15th, 16th again?
I personally believe, as of right now, with none of the signings that we've made, we needed to have made, like the wing backs and maybe a striker and maybe a centre half or two, and maybe a goalkeeper with some news about Freddie Woodman. Honestly, I see a slap bang 14th, 15th. Honestly, I can't see us anywhere above or beyond, above or below that. We've got such a bang average squad. I mean, we've made some good additions in like Sam Greenwood and Stefan. I'm not even going to pronounce his name because he's Icelandic. With Freddie, the other additions we've made, obviously, I think Sam Greenwood's a very good technical player who is a very good set piece specialist, and that's something we've lacked for a very, very long time. Stefan, the Icelandic guy, I'm just going to call him that. I can't be bothered to even think about pronouncing that last name or his middle name for the fact, but he looks like a very good Alan Brown replacement that we've been looking for. I mean, Alan Brown has obviously been a stalwart for us, and he's been a very important player for us for the last decade, but we needed to move on. I personally think we needed to move on from him. I think he got to a point where I just don't think he wasn't given enough anymore. I just don't think his performance was required there. And that was quite controversial to say. I got into a few arguments about that. I would have rather have got rid of Alan Brown, to be honest, and spent his wages elsewhere. Yeah. And we look like we may have got maybe a better player in it. I mean, pre-season, I don't think he's really excited much, but I think once the season gets rolling and he gets consistent minutes where he's going to be an important key player for us, I think he'll be absolutely amazing. I think he'll turn out to be a shrewd signing for us. But apart from that, I could not tell you anything about this squad. We've got Will Keane. Yeah. He might not be as good. Osmajic, who there was some rumours that he was going to leave. because he was apparently unsettled, but he turns out he just had a bit of an injury. Then Freddie Woodman's apparently going to be out for Friday, which means Di Cornell's in goal, potentially, which if it is, I don't know exactly how to feel about it. I don't know if he'll ever see this, but Di Cornell, no offense, we're probably going to get beat 3-0. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not really had much confidence in Di Cornell as a goalkeeper. Good guy, great activist for raising awareness for autism and stuff in football. But other than that, I'm not particularly happy with the squad. I mean, I'm glad we managed to keep Ben Whiteman, we managed to keep, like Emil Rees and Osmajic and Woodman, but we just need to make those additions, like wing backs and maybe another centre back or two, and another striker should Osmajic or Rees leave. But no, like Preston right now, I couldn't. If you searched up 13th or 14th in the dictionary, a picture of Preston North End comes up. I'm not even kidding. It's so average.
No kidding. So okay, if Preston go and get 3 players, the 3 positions that you said, if they go and earmark those 3 positions and go and get decent players, does that change your inflection on the season? And are we talking maybe an outlier in on the back half of just missing out of the playoffs, maybe like 9th, 10th? Is there that potential in Preston's side over the whole of the season?
There is, maybe, but it depends who we get in through the door. I mean, we are looking apparently at Cade Gordon from Liverpool and Isaac Mabaya, who I believe is at Bordeaux. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not too sure. Wait, hold on. I'm just being told this by. Oh no, Isaac Mabaya. He's from Preston, plays for Liverpool in their academy. So apparently we're looking at him or Cade Gordon, which it's good to have a young player, but they're on loan. It means nothing at the end of the season, because we'll be back to square one. Apparently, we're after someone from Bordeaux and someone from Slavia Prague, who is apparently a very, very tidy-looking player. I need to do a little bit more research on him, but from what I've been told, them talks look pretty good. So I'm very excited that we're expanding this horizon, that we don't just sign players from the UK and Ireland. We've gone like, oh, Europe exists. Maybe we should look at someone from Iceland or Scandinavia or Czech Republic and try and snipe these people on cheap fees and then potentially sell them on for future profit. But if we get those players in, and if it's the ones that I want, like, if we genuinely got top quality wing backs on the left and the right, a striker and a centre back, I could see why not give it a go. 7th, 8th, maybe. I'd say we'd do what we do usually is knock on the door, then it gets to May, then it goes down the shit pan. I'm sorry for swearing, but it just does that. That's just what we do. We did it against you guys, like a few seasons back, where there was the potential of us maybe sneaking into the playoffs, but you came and battered us 4-1 or 3-1, and I went to that game. It was, it was a great day out. I don't care. I just saw my team get. I seen Liam Delap score a goal, and I thought I'd never see that.
Oh man!
I think my issue lies with the manager. I don't know if he's exactly the one to get us over the line. I've been a huge defender of Ryan Lowe for a few years, but I'm not particularly confident in his ability to really galvanize a group and make them play for him. He can get teams. He can do good runs. Like last season, August to like end of September, brilliant run. We were top of the league somehow. And then we had that really good run between February and April, really good run. It looked like we might sneak into the playoffs. But it's like, as soon as we get an injury or two or 3, gone, done. finished. He has no plan B. He doesn't know what he's doing at that point, and then his head gets called for. And I have been in a camp last season where I was like, maybe he does need to step down and maybe leave, and we get someone better in. But I'm willing to give him one last chance. For me, this is his last chance, Ryan Lowe's last chance, because I can't put up with that again. Like, for us to advance as a club, we can't just keep doing what he's been doing so far. We've been making progress. Maybe last season is a little bit awkward in people's eyes. Some people see it as improvements. Most people don't see it as an improvement. Yeah, we finished all right, but it's like, at the end of the day, we still haven't not really looked threatening for the playoffs at all. So for me, this is Ryan Lowe's last chance. If it could get to December or January, and we might not look at him as the Preston North End manager anymore. That's just personally my opinion.
Yeah, and you know, Jack, you touch on something that is very intriguing, you know, because I don't want to say it, but as a Preston fan, like, the mediocrity of the past few seasons is just it's almost like you're stuck in a rut and you're spinning your wheels in it's the same thing over and over and over. And if Ryan Lowe is not the manager to get you to that inevitable goal to try and get towards, you know, playoffs and, you know, get up to the top flight, yeah, I think in a sense, you might be right. It might be time to move on. And, you know, at least you would like to see a team like Preston give it a push, because you see a bunch of other random teams in the championship that just every, you know, 2 or 3 odd years, they give it a go and they, you know, finish 6th, 7th, you know, 5th, the odd chance, get knocked out early in the playoffs, but still, it's like they came out of nowhere and you didn't see it coming. And it's just like, you know, there's like a small group of teams now in this league that are just like, we're here and we're going to finish middle of the road.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm so jealous of Luton, because Luton had a very good strategy. They bought cheap or even for free.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a very good manager who had a very good system, trusted in him, gave him everything he needed, and they went and did the dream. They were not very fancy, Ipswich. They're another one, but Luton, they went and won the playoffs against Coventry, another team who's been had a very good, clear strategy in how to buy and sell their assets. And that's just something that we as fans want. We don't want to be a feeder club, obviously, but it's like, if you buy these players for cheap and then sell high, you can reinvest that money to buy cheap, sell high, and then the club's infrastructure changes forever. And that's why I'm so jealous of like Luton, Coventry, Ipswich. Ipswich did have a little bit more investment, but that's because they truly believed in Kieran McKenna and the players. It's the team that got promoted from League One. Most of them got promoted to the Premier League, and it's just like insane. Like, I'm here as a Preston fan thinking, what on earth do I have to do? What on earth do we have to do to get to like what? Who did we annoy in a past life? Honestly, what did we do to deserve this? Because I look at these teams who, with all due respect, were worse than us, and they've gone into the Premier League where they get life-changing money, the infrastructure changes forever and for the better, and they have owners who know what they're doing with that. And I do feel like, you know, it does annoy me a lot. It annoys me so much. Even you guys, you came from League One.
Yeah.
We beat, like, you got beat by Swindon in the playoffs, not to remind you. And then we beat Swindon in the playoffs, got promoted that season. You got promoted like a season or two later. And you've gone to the Premier League before us. Yeah. And it's just like, what on earth have we done? It's just really, really annoying as a Preston fan just to be like, just to see these teams evolving, and we're just here like, Yeah, but we're coping. It's fine. We're doing well. We're 12th. We got it's like one of the lowest wage bills. We're overachieving. And it's just like, just set your sights higher.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. No, I
Throw
mean,
money at it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But again, just keep throwing money at it. That's what all these teams do. They just keep throwing money at it. And then when they achieve the dream, it pays dividends.
yeah. I mean, everything you're saying is almost gospel. I mean, you're exactly right. As a Preston fan, it's just like you said, what did we do wrong to deserve this? And we're here. These clubs are. Ipswich were terrible. Went down a couple years in League One, come back up, and they go back to back promotions to the Premier League. You must want to rip your hair out, but hopefully somebody figures it out at North End of Preston and gets them rolling down the tracks. Because I mean, in a sense, you just got to be like, what the hell are we going to do? I mean, okay, we're going to start the season in 15, 14, 15, 16. That's our ambition. I mean,
to be fair to the owner, right? Craig Hemmings, he has invested a lot of money in the last few seasons. I mean, Osmajic was our transfer record, and our transfer record before that was 1.5 million for David Healy from Man United. That was in the 2000s. We've since, I think, doubled that and a bit with Osmajic, and Osmajic looks like he's going to prove to be quite the shrewd signing. Scored 8 goals in very limited minutes last season, but it's just like, keep doing that. Just keep doing that. But I also know the owners don't want to invest too much money because they are looking to sell. Because I mean, they came out, they got advice from the Rothschilds on how to sell the club, which, by the way, some of our fans thought the Rothschilds are buying us. And it's just like, if the Rothschilds bought us, it's game over for English football because we'd win everything. We'd sign everyone. It'd be great,
Yeah. Right.
But, like, honestly, I mean, I'd rather we got different owners, people that want to be here long term, because it's quite clear that Craig Hemmings doesn't want to be here long term. But these new people, we have to be very careful because it obviously is a double edged sword. You could get someone really good or someone really, really bad. Yeah. We nearly got Chris Kirchner. I don't know if you heard about him. Nearly bought Derby, turned out to be a bit of a fraud. He's now in jail. He nearly bought us before Derby, which he was in. Which from when I went into a meeting. I went to a meeting with like Peter Risdale and Craig Hemmings with a load of fans a few years ago. And he says they got Chris Kirchner in the building and they laughed him out because they found out he was a fraud. And it's just like, I'm so glad we didn't get that guy.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just glad that while they're not here for the short term, they are acting in our interests.
Yeah.
Which I'm comfortable with. But I'm not comfortable with the fact that they're probably not going to be here much longer, which means minimal investment. But they're still investing quite a bit of money, which I like because Craig Hemmings is a fan of the club. He's from here. His father obviously very much cared about this club. So but they need to move on as soon as they can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it's only beneficial for both parties, for us as a club to advance and for them as people, as a family to move on.
You're exactly right. Turning the page to Friday, what's your score prediction? 3-0? 5-0? You guys are going to batter us.
You're going to batter us. I'm going to go 3-1 Sheffield United.
You'd be lucky if we even get a kick on, a shot on target on Friday.
From what you're making it sound like, that Sheffield United have basically got no players. Which
they 18 out, 19 out, and we got Asula's linked to Newcastle United for about 10 mil. So that might be 18 or 19 out and about 6 through the door. No more incomings.
Oh my word! No. I'm saying, oh dear, what has happened to your squad?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane.
I'm not lying to you. 18 or 19 out
We've got
in.
Gustavo Hermer, though. He's like one of the best players in the championship, full stop. So,
Well, we did that. That would be. We did pick up Callum O'Hare from Cove, so we have that Cove midfield pairing back together. Kiefer Moore from Bournemouth.
down there is a very good signing for this level. Very, very good signing.
Yeah, it's just a mixed bag, and it's the first game, and I think it's going to end up 0-0. That's what I think. I don't think it's going to be one for the neutral. I think it's
It'll
going to
be
be
all right.
boring, absolutely boring, 0-0. 2 shots on target, one by each side in the first 3 minutes, and then we just sit there and watch a wall of paint dry or the grass grow on the
I'll
pitch
go.
at Deepdale.
You know what? I'll downgrade it to 2 on Sheffield United. I just feel like Preston North End, they are licking their lips at this and going, yes, let's bottle this hard. Let's do it. Let's make this an embarrassing display.
Before okay,
I'm sorry. When did Reece Norrington Davis have Saudi? Oh, he was born in Saudi Arabia. I did not know that, but I've just found out that
somehow
Reece
he's Welsh. Somehow he's Welsh.
He's Welsh as Saudi Arabian heritage because he was born there. That's kind of insane. You know what? Every day's a school day.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at the transfer mark page, honestly, and
yeah, you're
this is actually very interesting.
I mean, he's hurt. He's been hurt for about 8 months. No timetable on when to expect him back. Jack, before we get out of here,
Mhm.
I ask every question or every person, every interviewee that I have on. Man, I gotta get back in the swing of this. But I'm gonna change up the question this year. I used to do favorite match day beverage, favorite match day food.
Oh, my favorite match day food. Honestly, I'm a very simple guy. It's just a tray of chips. Honestly, it's kind of a superstition at this point. Ever
Yeah,
since me and my brother started going together.
that's what it's all. That's what it's all about. Jack, drop the social medias where they can find the Butter Pie Podcast. And
The Butter Pie Podcast. You can find us on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. I refuse to call it X. But you can find us at the Butter Pie Podcast. Hold on, let me just see that. It's been kind of at the Butter Pie Pod on X. And I just called it X.
yeah,
But there you go. Twitter.
you go.
You can find us there. And yeah, we're going to be recording an episode hopefully this week. We're trying to get back into the swing of things. We've been quite inconsistent, kind of like North End in a way, in the last 2 seasons. So yeah, but we dropped our season preview, which is definitely a little bit too early. That is actually the title of our first episode, a season preview. That is definitely a bit too early.
The same thing with us. Same thing with us. It seems the theme is running rampant through the championship this season. Until I do another match preview and preview, hopefully, a lot of wins in this 24-25 championship season. I will leave you with Up the Blade.